Bridge anniversary, 1 year. And one of my favorite parts of doing this show, The Crossover, is when I get to talk to this gentleman right here. Coach Wayde!
He's buttering me up. It's okay, I'll take it. By the way, Ozark got to win that best drama.
Listen.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I know. Ozark has got to win. I love Stranger Things, but if it came down to it, that definitely goes to Ozark. You know what I mean?
I was begging for one more season. Just one more.
Keep going. I still got hope alive. I feel like they could come back and do something, because the way it ended, the whole family is now gangster.
Right.
So,
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to do any spoilers, but man.
Man, if you ain't watch Ozark yet, I don't know what you was waiting on, because that was off the chain for real.
Yeah.
But speaking of off the chain, a lot of times breakups become completely off the rails, off the chains. They go left field. And a lot of times we see the couples blaming each other. And it's not about them today. It's about the effect it has on the kid. So we want to talk about how can we get to a place where that turmoil is not there. So if you are right now in the middle of a breakup and you're one of those men walking around going, she won't let me see my own picnic, I can't see my picnic, cause blah, 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 blah. And if you're one of those women that are walking around and you're mad because like he won't even take care of his child unless I let him in my bedroom, you know, them kind of energies, these are realistic things. How do you as a human, how do you as an adult get past this? Or even preventative maintenance, anything you can tell us to help out.
It's hard, and one of the reasons why it's hard is because it takes two people involved for this to be fixed. I'll use myself as a personal example. When my ex and I split up years ago, she was bitter for a very long while, and what I chose to do was to be the positive one, because the kids need to see that. And as much as she was upset and she was bothered, they never saw that side of me at all. They never saw me angry, never saw me upset, never heard me raise my voice. I never once said a negative thing about their mother, ever, to this day. And she's 16 years old and he's 15. They've never heard me utter a negative thing about the entire family. And that's because the kids needed some positivity. They needed some sense of normalcy. And I didn't want to join that negativity. Now, what I ended up doing, we're okay now. We're good now.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that is because no matter how much she came at me, I never joined her.
That's
no matter how negative she was, I never joined her. No matter how much she tried to argue, I said, you know what? Okay, I'll talk with you tomorrow. Let's discuss it another day.
Go on social media, trash my name if you want to. Guess what?
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Never joined. Never entertained the thought of it either.
Yeah.
And so over time, you know, it became one of those situations where I think it just wore her down, and she realized that
she's not going to trigger you. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. What am I fighting? He's the father of my children. He's very, very involved in the kids' life.
Right.
He's never, not given anything that they need. Mm-hmm. What am I fighting for? And you know what it was that they're fighting, Nikki? She wanted to relate.
Yeah.
She had friends who were going through the baby father drama.
Mm.
She had friends who were going through the negativity. So for her, she wanted to relate and say that this is what she was going through.
Yeah.
But all her friends were looking at her like, are you stupid? He picks up the kids every single weekend and keeps them until Tuesday. Yeah. He goes to every event that they have. Yeah. He buys this for them, takes care of them. You think we're the same? I have a father who's never seen a child for the last 6 months, and you want to talk about what do you?
We are not the same.
We're not the same. Stuff like that eventually is what made her turn around. So to the men out there, I would say don't join in the negativity.
Right.
And to the woman, I would say the same as well. Don't join in the negativity. If you have someone who's very toxic, who is always bashing and talking, don't join them. Right? Hate does not necessarily. You don't have to join hate with hate. You don't have to join anger with anger. Right? And you have to try your best to be the positive influence that the kids need, and realize one of you have to be the sane one. And then you know what ended up happening?
What happened?
They moved in with me.
but everybody is at a calmer space though. So that's always nice, right?
We're good now. We're
that's what I mean
now.
It must have taken time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It wasn't easy. And there are times I want to tell her about herself as well. But you know what?
Hold it.
Never allowed myself to go there.
But okay, say I am the female. I have my babies and he just refuses to do anything father-like, but he just wants to pick him up, but he doesn't want to do anything else. How should I react to something like that? Like, he maybe pick him up once every 3 months, go to McDonald's and come back, but he don't want to do any of the school meetings, go to the school meets. He doesn't give them the phone calls consistently to even check on them. He doesn't know really what's happening. He just does what he wants and pops in and pops out. As a woman who is frustrated by that behavior, and I don't want an inconsistent father, but I don't want to prevent the father of my kids from seeing the child, how do you deal with that situation?
So that adds so much trauma to a child after a while. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I've suggested to parents is to put your foot in the ground, put your feet down, plant it, and say, until you can be a constant in the children's life, I can't have you come every 3 months. Yeah. I can't just have you come every once in a while, because that confuses the child a lot more. Because after they see and drop the child home, the child is longing for that parent, wanting them to come around. By about a month or month and a half goes by, they've started to get used to the father not being around, or the mother not being around, because I've had situations where it's mother as well too that doesn't come around. Now, when they've gotten used to this norm of not having the person there, you now come and disrupt their entire life all over again by popping in for 30 seconds and then mess with their psyche, and then you drop out again. This child is going to struggle with abandonment issue. This child's going to struggle with attachments issues. This child, is going to be looking to attach themselves to all the wrong people.
All the wrong people.
This is what you are doing. You're traumatizing. It may be better to just say, don't come around until you can get your stuff together and you can be consistent. Don't come around.
Consistency matters. And, this also relates to the conversation, because there's a whole legion of women who have baby fathers who want to use the child to control their sexual conduct. So in other words, he doesn't want to commit to you as a woman, but the only time he comes over, or when he does come over, he wants it to be about you and him. So on the woman's side, what does she do?
Listen, I'm going to be tough with this, but I'm going to say, have some respect for yourself.
Amen. Say it again. And who you talking to so they understand?
I'm speaking to both, but most of the women in this case. Most of the women in this case, right? Have respect for yourself. Do not allow yourself and your body to be used by this person, right? Mm-hmm. Do not allow them to take you and treat you just like you're a passing thing. You need to realize that what you're doing doesn't just affect you, it affects the children as well too, all around. So have respect for yourself. If this person's out of your life because you don't think they belong there, don't welcome them back in. Don't give them what they don't deserve. Don't give them what they haven't earned. They haven't earned the right to lay on top of you. They haven't earned the right to sleep beside you. Why are you inviting them? They haven't earned that. They haven't earned that.
Not at all.
You need to have respect for yourself and recognize your body is your temple, and you don't just give it out to any and anyone.
Even if you need that diaper money, hey, you better use some nappies and wash it and start again.
I grew up with nappies. And it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
It's a little messy. I'm not gonna lie, but it lasts a lot longer. Your dignity, your pride, and your integrity have to be worth more. Has to be worth more.
You can't be afraid to have to suffer, because sometimes that's what it requires to get where you need to go. Sometimes you got to suffer through, and that's just a fact. I've had to do that many times.
And the hard work that you put in, it'll be rewarded at the end of the day, because I saw what my mother went through and the struggles that she went through, and I appreciated every single second of it. And she came out of it. I came out of it stronger, took care of her. And she was great up until her final.
Here's the thing too, and this probably also relates to your mom, because the thing is, when people see you trying to work on the good foot, trying to put your foot down and do what's right in life, things open up for you like crazy, because people see that. It's noticeable. The stench of desperation, oh my gosh, it smells bad, and people can smell it.
It does.
And this is a big thing. Yeah. Come on, man.
I have a good life now. I will be thankful and be praised, for what I have. I'm very fortunate at this point. Somebody asked if I'm lucky. I said, no, I'm fortunate. No, I'm not relying on luck, because I can't count on that. But I went out and make my own. But as it stands right now, I went through a lot of stuff. I was a single father when I was at 18 years old. I had my first, and I struggled with him because mom didn't want to be around. So I took my child and I raised him by myself. And there were nights where he ate and I didn't, but he had food to take care of, and I didn't have any at that time. So I was good and I survived through. He doesn't know that. He didn't need to know that.
He don't need to know that.
But
And that's
I
another
went
thing,
through all of
parents. Stop
this.
telling your
Yeah.
kids how much you suffering for them. It ain't their fault. They did
No,
not ask you to give
they
birth
didn't
to them.
ask
So
to be
don't do
here.
that. Don't
Nope.
do that.
So he had no idea. He didn't recognize all of that, and he didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so I pushed through to the point that I am. And the point I'm trying to make is, it may feel hard right now. It may
Yeah.
feel like a struggle right now. It doesn't have to be forever. Have positive, thoughts in your head. Support and believe in yourself, and you'll push through it. Nothing was handed to me. I didn't win the lottery.
Yeah.
I worked for every single thing. I was a
Amen,
DJ
amen.
for years in some of the worst clubs you can think about.
Oh,
You
don't
know,
remind
before
me.
I got my, oh man, some of the worst clubs you can think about. Sometimes promoters running off before the club is done. I didn't get no money.
No
or anything of
money.
the sort.
Don't even get me
I
started.
remember those days. I remember those days.
I ain't trying to go back to them
picked
days.
myself up. Nope. Nope.
No,
So,
but you know what? In wrapping up all of this, what we're basically saying is everybody has a piece of responsibility in this race, because a lot of men, like I said, you might be out there and you might be blaming her, but did you stop and say, am I doing what I need to do as the father of the child, not as the ex-boyfriend or the ex-husband? Am I doing what I need to do as the father of the child? Because the rest of that doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter.
Sometimes you don't have to reply to people when they send you messages. As soon as someone sends you a message, you don't have to reply back to them.
Don't.
You
I
don't
taught
have
my
to,
son
no matter,
that
no matter
one.
what they say. Yeah, sometimes just look at it and go,
Okay.
and just put it down, because you are in a good space now, and that's going to ruin you. That's going to take you out of that.
Yeah.
So when you have someone who's trying to antagonize you, they're trying to get you into that space. They're in a bad space and they want you to join. You don't have to. As the father, as the mother, uphold yourself as a father and as a mother. You're not a baby father. You're not a baby mama. Take those negative derogatory terms away from you and treat yourself as a father and as a mother, and uphold these standards for the children. Yeah. They need it. They need it.
And that's what's most important. And that's what we're here for, to remind you all of those things. It's about the children. Once you have children, it's no longer about you. So if one of you is not going to man up or woman up, well, one of you is going to have to, or your child will suffer for it all. And that just is not excusable. It's not.
It's generational too, Nikki, because it's not just that the child suffers, their children suffer, and their children.
Because
it's
that's
generational.
all they know. Yeah,
it trickles all the way down.
It sure do. It sure do. It's not trickling down over here, though.
Not over here either.
You know what I'm saying? We changed it. We cut that. Changing them narratives. My baby boy know he ain't even a baby no more, but my baby boy know all the time. He know anything called mama, because mama ain't gonna play. So if daddy ain't gonna do, mama gonna do it. And I don't mean in a spoiled way. I mean you need me for anything, even if it's just a conversation. You call mama, we can talk straight. You know what I'm saying? What up, Cavell? She knows. She like, all right. But we got Coach Wayde on the line. His Instagram is 2 steps forward. Take 2 steps forward. Yeah. Take two steps forward.
You gotta take them first.
Yeah, man. You gotta take those steps. It's up to you. You hear that? And I need my people in the garrison to really listen, because it goes back to what I was saying to y'all yesterday. A lot of times those people in the higher positions, or those pretentious rich people, or those people who think they rich and they just pretentious, they just like to blame citizens. They like to say that it's the people in the garrison that's damaging Jamaica, or they like to say that it's the garrison mentality. So I need a lot of y'all to start reading more and understanding why some of these stereotypes are being placed on your communities, because it's not your fault at the end. Can we tell them, Coach Wayde, does change start at the bottom of the snake? No, did you answer this first? Does change start from the bottom?
Change starts from wherever you are. But yes, it can start from the bottom, but it usually is from the top. It has to be
when it comes to community and the streets, we're talking.
Yeah. But you know what? What you just said, I wanted to touch on. One of the most powerful things that you can do is educate yourself.
Yes.
The most scariest thing that exists right now is an educated person.
I know that's right.
The politicians are scared of educated people.
Yep.
Police are scared of educated people. Lawyers, everyone is scared of educated people. So you want to be scared? Don't worry about a gun. Don't worry about a knife.
Nope.
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
That's how you scare people. Yep. I scare people not through my gun, not through my knife, not through anything, but through my mind. I can challenge you intellectually.
Yep.
And I can answer those questions that you be asking. And so that is what scares the hell out of people. So If you want to rise up and get out, go into the library where the free books are.
Give me
start
3
learning.
books for someone who is not a reader that they can read that will help get them in the direction of a stronger mind and mentality.
So one book that I really like is Relationships 101 by John C. Maxwell. And I read that book once a year.
Really?
Even though I've read it every year, I go back and I read that book because it reminds me of how important relationships are and how important it is for you to actually look beyond yourself.
Okay.
And to touch on that one is a second book that I always have as well too, and that is The Courage to be Disliked. Right? The Courage to be Disliked speaks about not worrying about what other people think about you and how other people are looking at you. It's what you do and how you hold yourself to a high degree.
Yes.
That matters. And I'm gonna cheat and give you 2 more.
No problem.
How to win friends and influence people.
Oh, nice.
It's an old book that I think is from the 50s or 40s or something. It's a really, really old book, but it really tells you how to not think about you, think about other people, how to win friends and influence people, how to get people on your side, how to get them to buy into what you're trying to say. Yeah. And the last one, I'm going to have to censor it because it's called the Subtle Art.
I'm not giving up. Yo, that's my book. That's my book. That's my book. Yo, that is my book.
That's it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up.
I love that book. And that is an absolutely great book. And then if you don't want to read an instructional one for your first one, I'm going to throw another book in there. And I'm going to say A Long Walk Gone. A Long Way Gone. A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bey. That book was definitely transformative for me because it's like reading about the fact that this young man grew up in Africa, and when they were having a guerrilla warfare, they came in and they did so much evil in this kid's village, and he started to go on the run. He's on the run. And a lot of the times he by himself and he on the run. And he ends up turning into exactly what he despised. And not on purpose, but it shows you how things...
Just by necessity.
Yo! And that's how I see the Garrison. That's why I get mad when I see people just blame. Because when you're in survival mode, it's like your brain has been chipped. You've been transformed because this is how you have to survive. How do I know something else? But education, because this kid, and he, by the way, this is a true story, because the book is written by the same young man who this story is about. Yep. He was saved, he was brought, he was taught. You know, I don't mean saved by church. Calm down, Christians. I'm sorry.
I knew you were going there.
I'm just saying.
Let's clarify.
Let's clarify. You know, some people came over to Africa, he found him, and they took him, and they had to just... It's a whole process to deprogram. And that's what y'all don't get. So that's why for me, when I say things don't start at the bottom, that's what I feel like Jamaica needs. It needs reprogramming. It needs more things in the media to remind us the strength of what family is. The reminder of what hard work is. We don't see that anywhere.
And you know, we have to talk about education a little bit, because when we say education, a lot of people think of scholastic and schools and so forth. Education starts at home, people. Yes. Education starts with you. You are the primary educator for your children. You are the primary educator for yourself. And I want to say something quickly. I know there are some out there that may not necessarily be able to pick up a book because you don't know how to... Audiobooks are amazing.
Audiobooks. And you could go to YouTube and start to teach yourself to read. There's tons of reading course. People have literally just done it just to do it, to teach you how to read. So just go to YouTube, put learn to read, and it will be there. But take those steps, because a lot of times we don't take the steps because we're afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail.
No. Failure is a part of success.
Yeah, it is.
It's a part of actually being.
It fell on my face a bunch of times.
I mean, listen, you see the scratch right here?
You know what I'm saying? This is why my forehead's so tough. I don't fell on it.
Here. You don't see the lines. I'm crossed up. So no, failure. Don't be scared of failure. That is where you learn. You learn the most through failure than you do through success.
Yeah, but make sure you take the lessons. Don't just keep failing and don't learn and do the same thing over again.
Exactly.
Don't
audiobooks, people.
Reading
audiobooks or visual books, whatever works for you. Get some books, get some reading,
get some knowledge. Because knowledge is the biggest weapon.
Knowledge is power.
That's what
knowledge is power.
That's why I love talking to you. So you can't have no...
We can keep going. We
could. You can't have no sick days. You can't have no sick days. You're not allowed to. Hey, watch it. Go send some monkeypox your way. No, I'm kidding. No, stop. No.
Oh, no. We can't. Don't you guys have one case in Jamaica now? Let's...
When I see a picture and a name, I'll let you know.
Next man, you go on like we can't be friends. All you have to do is wish me all the best, and we'll go separate.
Thank you, Coach.
Always good. Always good.
Follow him at Take 2 Steps Forward.